All right, so Freedom, we told you about Jack Murphy. Fought in two of the biggest battles in the Pacific theater of World War II. Earlier, we told you about what he saw in his first combat of the war in the Battle of Peleliu. He grew up in Polk County, but his mother and grandfather passed away when he was very young, so they sent him to North Carolina to live in an orphanage.
I had been in the orphan's home.
Yeah.
From the time I was 6 years old, I had a job. When I was in there, I was making up my bed. I'd go out and pull weeds and feed the hogs.
Mr. Murphy says it was a hard childhood, and that helped him when he joined the Marine Corps.
Being in the Depression, everything was rough.
He saw his first combat, September 16th, 1944. That was day 2 of the Battle of Peleliu.
I watched them take the airfield when they had to go across that, but it's the 5th Regiment. That was those EB sledges out there.
When Mr. Murphy talks about the war, he usually has these books with him. One is The Old Breed, at Peleliu and Okinawa by E.B. Sledge. The other is The Old Breed, a history of the 1st Marine Division in World War II by George McMillan. Both books talk about how hard the fighting was at Peleliu.
I was there till about the 4th day of October, from the 15th of September to the 14th, about 4th day of October. We shoved off and went back to Pavuvu then. But
they didn't stay there long. They went to Guadalcanal to train for the next invasion. He landed on Okinawa on Easter Sunday, April 1st, 1945.
It was that real April Fool's Day. We couldn't even find them. We went across the island there in 2 days. We was on the other side, 10 miles across the thing.
Mr. Murphy was part of a 12-man howitzer crew. He says from there, they turned left and headed north.
But there wasn't much resistance up in the northern part. Most all the resistance was to the south, and that's where the Army was catching it.
On April 11th, he finally headed south to the toughest fighting in the battle.
No, it don't ever leave you. I can remember just vaguely, just like yesterday practically, when we went down to Canoe Ridge. That was at the end of the war there.
Okinawa was the last major battle of World War II, and Mr. Murphy fought there until the war ended. He fought at Peleliu, where about 2,000 Americans were killed, and Okinawa, where more than 12,000 died. It's hard to imagine the things Jack Murphy has seen with his own eyes. He says he is very proud of his service in the Marine Corps during World War II.
I felt like, though, that it was an honor for me to do that.
Japan officially surrendered on September 2nd, 1945. After the war, Mr. Murphy came back to East Tennessee, did several jobs. He worked in construction and worked for the Cleveland Police Department as well.